It's Bianca Bello, or should I say Carrie Bradshaw, because today we are living like Carrie Bradshaw for 24 hours. Both writers, both city girls, both semi-melodramatic and romantic at times, and both with absolutely curly, frizzy hair. So before we fully dive into living like Carrie for 24 hours and go off to the city on our lovely adventures, I am going to be hosting a giveaway. So in the spirit of October, all things magical and all things fictional, I am going to be giving away the Sips by Magic Box. Now, inside of the magic box includes 4 different varieties of teas with 15 plus cups of magical tea. We have a witch's brew potion tea, an olive and dingo's color changing tea, which is a sweet herbal tea, a night in the glittering caves tea. It is a Lord of the Rings inspired black tea blend. And lastly, a magic matcha potion, which is a blue matcha. And of course, since all of these are loose leaf teas minus the powder, because the powder you just whisk to make frothy, it also comes with compostable tea bags, and a lot of them. So you could really stretch out these teas and make them perfect. So the giveaway instructions are as follows. You must stay to the end of the video to find out how you're going to enter to win the Sips by Magic Box. Now without any further ado, cue the theme song. It was a sunny October morning with a chance of possible food poisoning from last night's ramen in New York City. After telling my not really a cab driver, but kind of because he drives me everywhere boyfriend to pull over at 2 different gas stations, we finally arrived in Manhattan. The fall air just brings something out of everybody in the city. The girls dress cuter, sporting their summer trench coat finds they thrifted from Beacons. The boys layer up, leaving a lot to unravel. And me, well, I start to feel alive once more. We parked illegally in the West Village and headed over to Carrie Bradshaw's apartment. Every New Yorker knows that Sundays are deemed make your own spot day. Or maybe they're meant for church, or whatever. Anyway, we strolled through the tree-lined Perry Street and watched as girls and boys alike took photos in front of what was the brownstone face of Sex in the City. A private property sign hangs sturdily atop of the long tan stoop, as I'm sure many tourists found Bradshaw's to be a free-for-all. Do know that kids in New York were raised on stoops, and it was never a big deal to lurk passageways as you get kicked out of your local hangout, but just because a place is in a TV show or a movie, it doesn't quite give you the right to loiter, as if you pay the bills. Speaking of bills, I definitely shouldn't have bought these Vivienne Westwood heels before I lowered the debt on my credit card. Maybe I could get a part-time job at Bergdorf's. I practically live there anyway. While I mention the shoes, I may as well give a breakdown of my Bradshaw-inspired outfit. Shoes, of course, Vivienne Westwood, considering her wedding dress was made by the designer, and well, we all know how that story goes. My shirt/dress is from H&M about 5 years ago. It was the only full-price thing I've ever bought from there. And while I was strolling the streets, I may or may not have strutted too hard and ripped a seam. Anyway, the pants are from Macy's Last Act, and the hat, well, do I even dare mention that it's most likely from Limited Too? Lucky for me, I never get rid of clothes. I hold such a sentimental value toward each piece, and whenever a trend comes back around, I've got something waiting to be worn. Not to say I'm even a fan of trends, though. I'd much prefer haute couture. But you already knew that, didn't you? As the day moved along, so did I, where I stumbled upon the garden Miranda and Steve got married in, a quaint little park where two old men drink coffee with one another, accompanied by a donation bucket, as it's a privately owned park. Most likely something to do with the church out back. I clawed into my wallet for some singles. On my walk through the garden, I found myself thinking a lot about love, the way we all crave it, but never quite get a taste. It's a tease, you see, watching others hold hands and run amok, while you're stuck in your head pondering this fantasy that just doesn't lie in the nonfiction section of the 42nd Street Public Library. To romanticize means to twist things, and I stopped doing that a fair time ago. But sometimes I wonder, is it better to romanticize and feel fulfilled with fiction? Or is it better to face reality head on, ignoring the rabbit hole that is love? I took the rest of the day to think about that concept, quickly finding myself leaving the West Village and heading off to Chelsea, where I wandered around the market and found myself in a spot where Mr. Big had a semi-similar realization. Budokan, the night of Carrie and Big's rehearsal dinner. Why couldn't Miranda just keep her mouth shut? Sometimes thoughts are overwhelming, and that's where shopping comes in. A place I don't even know the name of, but it called me home. Skincare, $300 silk dresses, $600 furry jackets. I have never felt more Carrie. Here's the thing about shopping. If more than one employee asks you the same exact question, they get commission. Remember their name and they'll thank you later when they get off their 9-hour shift onto the subway to a bigger paycheck than they expected. Of course, I couldn't afford anything, but it's nice to pretend like you can. Also, I really got to get me one of these mirrors. Chelsea Market, always a good time if it's not crowded. Floral shops, my fave brownies from Fat Witch Bakery, and of course, a little shop to remind me of the looks in Sex and the City too. One quick stop at the Bleecker Street Magnolia Bakery, where I happily declined waiting on the astronomical line and decided to head on over to the Lower East Side instead. Excitedly ended up at my friend's Knish shop, which is possibly the oldest Knish shop in New York City when they got their start in 1890 selling Knishes on a push cart. It's called Yona Schimmel's, and unfortunately my friend wasn't there today, but a FaceTime call will suffice for now. The Lower East Side is truthfully where I spent most of my teenage years. Carrie doesn't visit much, as she makes it clear in the show it's where a lot of the under 30s hang out. For me, the LES means music, bars, and more music. With that, I walked into Rivington Studios where Jordan picked up his bass, and I changed into my nighttime outfit. Every New Yorker knows that you can go from daytime to nighttime in any bathroom, any street corner, or stairwell in the city. Ask around. I promise, they've done it. Without realizing, I hadn't eaten all day. Rushing over to Little Italy, I picked up a salad and scoffed it down. I took my midi skirt and turtleneck look into Serafina to use the restroom. Although I was definitely dressed for a bowl of pasta, I literally just needed to use the restroom. Another thing about us city gals, we're willing to find the best restaurant bathrooms by smiling at the hostess and then the bartender and acting as if we belong. It's my favorite trait. Moving on to the streets of Little Italy, I walked by O'Neill's, which is actually Scout, Steve and Aiden's bar, in Sex and the City. It's so magical seeing it in person. Although the sign is different, the vibe is still there. Being that it's a Sunday night, things were a bit slow. So let's take a look at my outfit before the night slips away. Wearing a metallic leather jacket that truthfully only comes out during the month of October, accompanied by a knit turtleneck from Primark, a silk midi skirt that I've had since high school and don't recall where I got it from, a pair of torn up, if you look too close, knee-high lace-up boots that I've also had since high school. I spent the rest of the night lurking Mulberry Street, singing Italian songs I grew up listening to but not understanding, followed by a pit stop at my fave ice cream shop, Soft Swerve. The night grew darker and colder, so the ride home was nothing but a dream. Tired eyes and full bellies, just me and my not really a cab driver, but kind of because he drives me everywhere boyfriend, reminiscing on the day we had, romanticizing life for a moment, and storing the memories in a safe place in our brains. What I had touched upon before, feeling like I'm not deep enough in the rabbit hole of love, I think if we stopped playing pretend altogether, life would become so dull that not even the sharpest of tools could get it to hold a purpose again. Love is meant to be romanticized, life is meant to be lived, and outfits are meant to be changed at least twice a day. Does this mean the hopeless romantics will always be searching, and the cynics will always find something to worry about? If there's a gray area out there, can someone please point me in the right direction? Alright, so you made it to the end of the video where you can win your own Sips by Magic box, which again includes 4 different teas, all very magical and beautiful. And all you gotta do to win this giveaway is to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. You must follow me over on Instagram, and you have to. Here's the kicker on how I know you want to enter. Down below in the comments, tell me your favorite fictional character. And make sure you also leave your Instagram so I could contact you if you won the giveaway. And also, without any further ado, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, living like Carrie Bradshaw for 24 hours. So if you like this video at any point, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and follow me over on Instagram. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in my next Vlogoween video. Make sure you enter the giveaway. Bye!